Hey there everybody, it's Anthony Karabash and I'm doing a quick tutorial for our Math AQ instructors, in particular our primary junior. I'd like to show you how to set up small group discussions in your discussion area. So first begin by clicking on the discussions link at the very top, and you're going to scroll down and you'll have an introductions, and I highly recommend that you keep the introductions for the whole group. And again, this is optional, but you'll see the logic as I go through as to why we would want smaller groupings. And you have the ability to create very small groups or medium-sized groups or two large groups. It's totally up to you. So if you scroll down here, you'll see that there are a couple of topics. And let me differentiate between a forum and a topic. Across the top here in black, you have the forum. Think about the forum as the building, and think about the topic as a room in the building. Okay? So when you walk into the van der Waal Reading Reflection building, currently you have one room in that building to talk about pages 3 to 25. And then you have a separate room for 43 to 60. Now you have 20, 25, 15, 18 students in your class, so they're all being funneled into a single room. What we're going to need to do is first of all break them up into groups and then give each group a room to go to just to facilitate a more professional dialogue. So here's what you're going to do. Step 1, you'll go to your groups link, and if you don't have this set up already, it is straightforward. Step 2, click on New Category. New Category is just a generic term, so what we'll say is maybe Spring Course Grouping 2014. You could put a description or not. The enrollment type is very important that you take a look at this. This is interesting in that Desire to Learn will ask you what you would like to do, so you can enroll them by number of groups, or groups of number, or groups of number with self-enrollment, and number of groups with self-enrollment, etc., etc. Really, if you want to randomize it, you would choose either groups of number or number of groups. So know the number, and D12 is not going to be perfect. You might have a small group of 2. If you want even groupings throughout, it's not intuitive enough that it's just going to pluck one extra here and there. It's going to level out your request as a priority. So if you say groups of number 5, it will place everybody in groups of 5, and if it leaves one out, it leaves one out. But there's workarounds for that. So I'm going to say, let's say groups of number, and I want no more than, let's say, 5 users in each group. Okay? And so this could leave me with a group of 1. After it's distributed everybody, I could have a group of 1. So let's remember what we're going to do. Auto enroll new users is for anyone who's just signing on to the course late. Always have that tick just in case. And then you're going to save. You're not going to create any workspaces because you've inherited the workspaces. All right. And what you're going to see is on the next page, there's the spring course grouping category. And here's what I'm talking about. So I have a group of 5 followed by 3 other groups of 5, and I have a group of 2. Now, I could just shrink this and make 3 groups of 5 and 1 group of 7. And I'll show you how. What I'm going to do is just join groups 4 and 5 in the same room. All right, so how do we get to those rooms? Let's talk about that. Once your categories are complete, click on the Discussions link. All right. Scroll down to the building. So here's the building. Here's the van der Waal Reading Reflection, and here's the room, Reading Reflection for FEDW. All right. So that is going to be by default room number 1. So we can actually change that if you want. So you click on the drop down arrow and you click Edit Topic, and just add room 1. And when you look across the top, you'll see restrictions. So you click on restrictions and scroll down until you see here. It could look like this: hide topic and group setting restrictions, or show it. Just click on it and it will show it. And what's underneath says restrict this topic to the following groups. And then finally click add groups and sections. We said that was room 1, right? It's right up here. So we'll call it group. We'll give group 1 access to that room and nobody else, and we'll add that. Those red X's simply mean if you want to come back and remove that grouping, you can. And now just click Save and Close. So now, if I scroll down, well, there it is, room number 1. Okay? Now I need to add more rooms to the building. So I always start off at the building. I can't build a room inside a room. It makes no sense. So I go to the building, and I'm looking for add a topic. Well, for our purposes, we're calling it a room. So we add a topic, and we will call it room number 2. Okay? So if I can't remember the topic name, I pop back in here. Actually, I can just copy those words, right? Control C, and then go back in and click add topic, because I forgot what it was. And then I'll paste it. But in this case, I'll change it to room 2. And then under restrictions, right? Under restrictions, I'm going to restrict the topic, add groups and sections, and then because it's room 2, I'm going to add group 2. And I click add. I'm going to save and close. You will notice that any new room that you create will appear at the very bottom. You see that room 1 is here, and you think, where's room 2? I have no idea. It's at the very bottom. There it is. You can actually reorder. Let me show you how. If you scroll up to more actions, you'll have an option to reorder. When you click on reorder, it will show every single discussion. So in this case, it starts off here, 1, and then it goes 1, 2, 3. So the 1 is your that building or that forum for general. Here's my second forum, and here's my first room. I need to go down and find room number 2 and give it that second place. So I'm just going to change that to a 2, and everything else will adjust accordingly. And then click Save. Now when I go to Discussions, I'll see that room 2 come up right below room 1. There it is. Now I'm going to continue. What I'm going to do is do a couple more. So again, add a topic to the forum or add a room to the building, and I will paste it, but I will call it room 3 instead. And then I will go to restrictions, restrict the topic, add the group, and of course I want group 3. I'm already thinking that groups 4 and 5 are going to be together in the next one. So then I'll click Save and Close, right? And I could reorder it now, or I could create the last room while it's on my mind. Okay, so again, I'll go back to that building, the Reading Reflection building. I'll create a new room, and I'll call it, same thing, so I'll call it room 4/5. Just to keep it clean, just to make sure I remember. And then I'll go to restrictions, and once again, I'll restrict this topic, add groups and sections. And in this case, because group 4 was full and group 5 had 2 members, it doesn't hurt at all to have a group of 7. And then I'll add those 2 and save and close. Finally, I'll reorder all of those discussions that I just made changes to. So I'm looking for rooms 3 and 4, 5, and I want them to appear 3rd and 4th. There's 3rd, and there's 4th, and then I save. Now, you see how I can add multiple groups to one room. I could create just 2 rooms and add 2 or 3 groups to those 2 rooms. So I'd like you to give that a try, and that way you get a much more fruitful discussion